When you are inside the Jehovah's Witness cult, you are constantly bombarded with reminders of how everyone is looking at you as a Jehovah's Witness who upheld the standards of the religion. And the religion keeps telling you and everyone else that everybody outside the religion is out there to destroy it, because the religion is the only true religion.
Remember, when we go door to door, people see us, and good behavior gives a good witness. We would never want to give anyone a reason to find fault with our ministry.
However, when you realize how dangerous the religion is and try to warn others, you immediately get confronted with the reality that the world doesn't really care about the Jehovah's Witnesses and the horrors that hide behind them. You think you finally have that evidence that will bring the Jehovah's Witness religion down and that will change everyone's perspective, and when you show it to everybody, they just kind of shrug it off to cult indoctrination. Almost like they think it's a necessary evil in the pursuit of diversity of religion. It's been the better part of a decade since Jeffrey Jackson testified in front of the Royal Commission and declared how they have a problem with child abuse. The Royal Commission uncovered child abuse proportionally larger than that of the Catholic Church. And yet, the world still sees the Jehovah's Witness religion as this fringy Christian sect of friendly people who are just too pushy about the Bible. The Jehovah's Witness religion isn't successful at a lot of things. It can't seem to convert any new members. It can barely adapt to the death of the printed media they build their religion around. And it definitely isn't successful at making convincing looking beards. But it is successful at one thing: covering up abuse. The narrative that the religion pushes is the narrative that most people believe about the religion. That the issue about child abuse boils down to a few bad apples that you'll find anywhere. That's what your average person will know about their issues, if anything. Most people will never find out that the Jehovah's Witnesses have more documented cases proportionally than the Catholic Church, and that they are currently hiding a database of abusers who are being protected by the religion, with their details of the abuse carefully tucked away under the religion's top secret database. Also, the religion can save face. No, most people will only know that there are some child abuse cases like in any other religion and are unlikely to investigate more. This seeming contradiction has obsessed me for over 2 years now. This is a massive conspiracy that nobody seems to care about. Why is that? Well, I think we have to start giving credit where credit is due and look into how successful the religion has been at perpetuating a theology around conserving its own image. The religion has instilled in its followers a sense that they cannot say anything that can ever be interpreted as neutral or negative about the religion, even if it's true. They are told to remain quiet as to protect Jehovah's name, even if it means suffering an injustice in silence.
Here's another changing circumstance. We encounter perceived injustice in the congregation. Now, you notice we said perceived, because often things are not the way we see them to be. We can't read hearts. We don't have all the facts. Often our view is like trying to look into a large house through the front door that's cracked open 1 inch. Very limited view we have. So seeing the big picture, we'll recognize we don't have all the facts. So once we've done what's in our jurisdiction, perhaps report the matter. Seeing the big picture, we'll leave it in the hands of those who have all the facts, confident that they will take care of this matter. If it truly is an injustice, they will take care of it in their time and their way.
This makes it so the followers cannot say anything that's not glowingly positive about the religion, hiding anything that may put someone off and think the religion is anything but good. This is clearly seen in a very recent interview with a Jehovah's Witness spokesperson, where the host decided to go off script and ask him a few questions like if the Jehovah's Witnesses considered the man to be the head of the marriage. The Jehovah's Witnesses do consider the husband to be the head of the marriage and repeatedly read verses that talk about the importance of a wife being in subjection to their husband. However, the spokesperson knows the truth will sound bad, so he instead uses red herrings and plain avoids answering the question truthfully or directly.
See, but does the male have dominance over the female in the Jehovah's Witness faith? Dominance? Absolutely not. No, we would never.
Who
ever
wears
use
the
that
pants
phrase.
is what I'm saying to you.
Again, I'll direct you.
apparently,
You can look it up in jw.org. Look under headship, and you'll find it. And you'll find a
Okay.
scriptural answer, right? That's the thing, Bo.
Okay, all right.
We're not going to make up policies that don't have a basis in the scripture.
Well, you know what that is, though. What is it? Is it male? Is it female? Is it? Because in my house, it's female.
I will tell you this. I don't make
Mine
decisions.
too.
In my family, I don't make decisions without consulting my wife.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
That leads to a happy marriage.
Who makes the ultimate decision, though?
Well, we like to think our understanding of the scriptures guides it.
Okay, all right. Fair.
This also happens when the host asks him why is it that women aren't allowed to wear anything but long dresses, which is true. They aren't allowed to wear anything but long dresses when they are going to preach or to the meeting. But the spokesperson uses a red herring and merely says that anyone can wear anything outside their worship, which is only half true.
Why do they have to wear a skirt? Well, we had neighbors who were Jehovah's Witness, and the daughter every day had to wear a skirt when she went to school.
Yeah, well, people's personal decisions are personal decisions.
So it's not a rule.
Not with regard to our secular activities, no.
Okay, all right.
Why? Well, because he doesn't want the host to know just how controlling the religion is. Even though the religion is probably amongst the most controlling Western religions when it comes to dress and grooming. When you ask a Jehovah's Witness about their religion, they're trained not to respond truthfully, but to respond with whatever version of the truth they think you'll find the most appealing, even if that version of the truth isn't particularly truthful. That's why a Jehovah's Witness will never tell you what they don't like about their religion, because they're trained to think there's nothing in the religion that they're not allowed to like. And that's also why Jehovah's Witnesses are usually kind of boring people. Jehovah's Witnesses are taught to see this world as a passing and failing system which isn't meant to be helped.
The world is in chaos. This system of things is disintegrating. The world economy, health systems, security, governments, and we know where this all is leading. It is leading to the Great Tribulation.
That's why Jehovah's Witnesses are banned from even voting, and even more to hold office or doing any kind of political activism. Not only are they not allowed to vote, they aren't allowed to have political opinions outside of this system is doomed and failing. This makes it so Jehovah's Witnesses are never associated with any kind of political change, and therefore kept outside of public conscience, because they're never seen protesting or interfering with any kind of relevant political activity. They're usually mostly subservient to the authorities and out of any kind of movement that might shed a light upon them. Since they're not allowed to become politicians or even to have any kind of political opinion, they usually have nothing to say other than a silent disapproval when it comes to any kind of political development that doesn't directly affect them, which keeps them out of the spotlight. Instead, the Jehovah's Witnesses are told to be kind and to smile to others, especially when they're in the ministry door to door and they are easily identifiable as Jehovah's Witnesses.
Be warm and friendly. So focus on just getting yourself relaxed. That way you can be warm and friendly when you greet them. But if we've prepared well ahead of time, we can now take a deep breath, focus on the value of the message, and smile. This can help us to relax. And often our smile is contagious.
Whenever they're confronted with a question, besides being taught to not answer it directly, they're told to smile and to be as warm to the other person as possible. This furthers the public perception that the Jehovah's Witnesses are simply overzealous, happy Jesus-preaching people who are nice and who don't mess with anybody. And that leads us to the main reason why I feel people don't care about Jehovah's Witnesses. Because they're boring. Even at their most entertaining, they are boring. Just look at this clip right here.
The God's Love book explains that masturbation is the stroking or rubbing of the genital organs, commonly resulting in an orgasm. So, does a person have to use their hands to masturbate? For example, say a brother wears an undergarment that's so tight it rubs his penis as he moves around. He gets aroused and even ejaculates. Is he masturbating? Yes, he is, because he's deliberately stimulating his genitals even though he's not using his hands.
This is from the pillow videos, and it's telling followers not to masturbate. This is arguably the most entertaining video the Jehovah's Witnesses have ever produced. And yet, the pacing, the training to only say positive things, and the delivery make it one of the most boring videos anyone in this TikTok era has ever seen. Do you think Hassan Piker is gonna react to this on stream? They wouldn't even show these or any other indoctrination clips in the news because they're boring. I mean, just look at this homophobic clip.
Along with false religion, human society in general is gradually corrupting everything that Jehovah has set in place for mankind. We see it in their incessant nationalistic wars. We see it in their racial hatred and divisiveness. We see it in their promoting of abortion. We see it in their so-called gay marriage. We see it in the gender blurring that the world is promoting. You don't have to be a man or a woman, they say. You can be whatever you feel like or choose to be. Really? What does Jehovah say about that? At Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 5, he told the nation of Israel that, quote, "A woman must not put on the clothing of a man, nor should a man wear the clothing of a woman, for anyone doing so is detestable to Jehovah your God." If that is how the Creator feels about the switching of clothing, how much more detestable he must view the world's attempts to blur the lines of gender with false labeling.
Again, this is one of the most overt videos about their extreme homophobic views. And yet, no one will ever show the full clip because the clip is boring as fuck. It doesn't matter that the Jehovah's Witnesses is one of the most homophobic religions in the Western society. No one is reporting on it because the clips are extremely boring. And that's why I spend days, weeks, sometimes months making videos, because I know just how boring the subjects of the videos are, and I feel I need to work as hard as I can to make it entertaining for you to watch. That's why also all of my videos are completely free to react or to transform into anything else, because I don't do this for money or for a sense of charity or even for credit. I do this to get the word out in spite of the boringness of the cult. But above all, and I've been thinking about this issue for months and months, I think there's one more reason why the world doesn't care about the Jehovah's Witnesses. And that's because in this culture, we don't see indoctrination as the abuse it actually is. I would argue, and this is a huge take that I don't say lightly, that indoctrination is probably the worst thing you can legally do to a person. By indoctrinating someone, you kill them while they are alive, taking over that person's life, manipulating them to do anything you decide it's okay for them to do. Indoctrinated people can waste their whole lives dedicated to a failed cause or to a pointless cult. And the Jehovah's Witness religion is good at few things, but it's really good at keeping followers indoctrinated. Through constant use of gaslighting, shunning, and other manipulation techniques, they keep followers in a theology that's pretty nonsensical when looked at logically, giving them every reason to look the other way when confronted with reality, and demonizing the messengers of reality. And in our current culture, that is okay. That's just what many religions do, and it's just what you get if you want to tolerate every religion. That's why I'm never going to receive a grant to continue researching the Jehovah's Witnesses, or why I'm never going to get a sponsor. Not because I don't think it's wrong to take money to talk about this stuff, but because most people just don't like people who criticize religions and think it's okay to just let religions be, regardless of how much they can control someone's life or someone's mind. But it shouldn't be okay. Just as tolerance cannot tolerate intolerance, tolerance should not tolerate gaslighting or any other form of manipulation of the truth. We shouldn't be tolerant towards religions who manipulate people into being indoctrinated and that punish those who decide to leave. We shouldn't tolerate the intolerance of Jehovah's Witnesses when it comes to homosexuality. And we shouldn't tolerate their unscientific beliefs being pushed as truth to children. So people don't care about Jehovah's Witnesses. How do we make them care? I don't know. I have no idea. This channel is my response to that question, and after almost 2 years, I have failed at getting any significant impact when it comes to exposing Jehovah's Witnesses. I think we probably can't do anything as individuals, but we can do it if we work together. Check where you get your news, whether that is the newscast, Twitch streamers, the fucking newspaper, wherever you get your news. Ask them to cover the news related to Jehovah's Witnesses in your area. Let them know that there's people who care about Jehovah's Witnesses and who want to know more about their harmful policies and how they impact your community. Get involved and speak out in any form you can, whenever you see convenient, to get people around you to get to care about the horrors of the Jehovah's Witness religion. And leave your comments below, because other than what I've listed, I honestly don't know how to solve this problem. I think, however, the first step in solving any problem is acknowledging we have one. And this video is made to do just that. Making people care about the Jehovah's Witnesses is hard, but if we work together, we can change that.